Hi everyone, so here is a quick tutorial for lesson 3 in our turtle algorithms. So what we should have done is planned out our design of the Germany flag and written down some of the coordinates. So I've started that already, which I have here. So poorly drawn, but some of the things that we need to figure out are the coordinates of where our different shapes start on our flag, as well as the dimensions of them and the colours. So the Germany flag has 3 equal sized rectangles. One is black, one is red, and one is yellow. Now there are built-in instructions to our Python Turtle programming that allow us to draw different shapes, and those are all in here. And one of the challenges you do have is possibly to go back and look and see if you can write code that will achieve the drawing of a square. And there are others that you can use that will draw a diamond, that will draw a rectangle, and that will draw stars. And you can try these after you get the challenges in this lesson complete. Now the pattern for using them is the same, and it's a little bit different from what we've written so far already, and we're going to fix the problems that I have here now. It works when I press play, but I messed up with the coordinates. So you can see what we have here. We've got the draw triangle procedure that's going to tell the turtle Tommy to draw something that is filled black, and these are the x and y coordinates we want him to start from, and then this is the width and the height that we wish him to draw. And you can see the pattern for that here. So we've got this in comments here. So if something's red like this, it normally means that it's going to be ignored. Obviously there is some red, but when we have these comments, it means the code's ignored. So first we've got to put the name of the turtle. So we're using Tommy most of the time. Then we put the colour we want to fill it in. And the x and y coordinates are the x and y coordinates of the bottom left corner. Then we tell it the width in pixels, which is 180 and 30, and then the height's 30, sorry, in pixels. If we look at the design that I've created here, you can see that the width is 180 pixels and the height is 30 pixels for each of the shapes. And because it's 180 wide, the coordinates of the x-axis are going to be minus 90 for each of these, and the y-coordinate of the left-hand side of the rectangle is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and not 90 as I've put here. So if we fix that to 60, it will draw the same rectangle just in different positions. So now we need to work out the coordinates, the dimensions of our next red rectangle to draw. Now again, that's going to be minus 90, which we had to fix on the previous one, so we got minus 180, so we'll fix that. And the coordinates of the left hand side, bottom, are 10, 20, 30 pixels high. So let's fix this one so that it's more central. So minus 90 on our black moves more central. Now we can cut corners, copy and paste if you don't want to retype. The turtle's still Tommy. We don't want a black any longer, we want red. Looking at my plan, the x coordinate is minus 90. The y coordinate is slightly lower down, it's at 30, and the width and the height are the same. And now when we press play, we get our first rectangle and our second rectangle. Looking back at the design, our yellow rectangle is next. The x coordinate is minus 90, and the y coordinate, nice and easy to figure out, is 0. So if you want to type it this time, you want to draw rectangle, making sure we get that underscore. The turtle's called Tommy. We want it to be yellow. We want the x coordinate to be minus 90, y coordinate 0, the width to be 180 pixels, and the height to be 30. And if we press play now, we should hopefully have successfully created the Germany flag. Now you could put text on there too if you want to research that. You could mess around with making it bigger or smaller if you wish. There's lots of things that you can do to try and hack this code to do different things. But what you will need to be able to do is use the different shape procedures to draw different things. So looking at the Shapes tab, you can copy paste parts to save a little bit of time. So let's just see how the others work, because to do the Singapore flag, we need to use circles. So our object is called Tommy, our turtle is called Tommy. Let's just create a red circle. Size, let's experiment with that, and you can see there's not as many. And then the X and Y coordinates, let's put something at the origin. Press play. Now that's because I accidentally typed a colon, and the interpreter is telling me I've got a mistake. And then you can see that a 10 size circle is related to the radius that you put in. So we want a slightly bigger one. If we change to 50 and start again, we should end up with a much more bigger circle. Like it's bigger the further you go on. Now you can experiment with the colours. You can guess them and see if they work. Maybe purple's there, and it is. Or you could look up the colour codes that are online. So what other shapes do we have in here? We have triangle, so let's experiment with that one and see how it works. So again, we want to put in the name of our turtle, Tommy. Let's go for a green colour and see if it works. Now the size of these triangles, let's see what happens. 50, and let's also put it at the origin to see how it draws. And again, accidentally copied the wrong part. I don't need the colon there, so press play. We get a Germany flag, we should have a purple circle and then a triangle, I believe an equilateral triangle, and all the sides and all the internal angles are 60 degrees. I hope that's correct. So that's how the triangle works. Perhaps you could use that with another shape to draw some of the other parts and flags. Draw square is not been given to you, but perhaps as a challenge in this lesson, you could look at the code for the other shapes and draw it. Some flags you may have to draw could have diamond shapes in them, perhaps. So again, let's put in the code, Tommy, and let's go for some white diamonds, size 50 to experiment, and let's just draw them again at the origins to see how it looks. So we got circle, triangle, and then we get our diamond, which is kind of a square, but it's just turned on its side. So maybe you can look at the code for that to draw a square, perhaps. Rectangle we've already looked at, and we can see the code for that. And then the final one is to draw a star, which might be very useful for the one you're going to do today. So substituting the parts, Tommy, and let's go for a colour we've not used. Let's go for blue. Size, let's experiment with 50, and again at the origins, and make sure I erase that colon which I copied accidentally. Press play, we get our Germany flag, then we'll get our circle, our triangle, our diamond, and then finally we get this quite large star, so the USA flag, making use of stars. The Singapore flag I believe has got stars, and some of the others that are in the challenges also have stars. So there's a quick overview. There's how to create the Germany flag. What you should do now is work in your teams, just design the Germany flag now that we've seen it, discuss the coordinates and write the code for the Germany flag so that you understand the basics of the rectangles. Then you should move on to complete the design for the Singapore flag. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you think about how to complete it with just circles, rectangles and the stars, it is possible to create a really good version of the Singapore flag. And you should design that first, plan your coordinates, and then write your code for it.